proper dimension, the proper coordinate system, which is Cartesian coordinate system, leave out the rest, unimportant rest like idiomatic information about the boxes. Don't worry about that. Really fast. But I think you just small dimensions and solve the problem.
Very good. There's final thank you. About a foot over this way so it doesn't. There we go. Thank you. Those close may notice these are the simulations I'm going to be talking about. A bunch of them. But let me start in a little more abstract way, which is imagine a world with millions of little computational elements, which you could pour into a container, and they would organize themselves to form a brain, or at least learn like an animal does. That's been my goal in this project, and what I've developed is called the HaveNWant schematic. So, like I said, some of it's operating there in minute detail. We present here today a set of pieces, each representing one bit of information and rules for adding new pieces when unknowns are detected and connecting them bidirectionally. HaveNWant represents a particular way to build controllers, and it's got some ups and downs to that. So I'll show you some of them operating in a Mac app I wrote, which is called Fractal Workbench. That generated all of these. And yes, there's an app for that. So I've been exploring these networks for the past 5 or 10 years, depending on how you count. And I found many little sweet spots, things that seem to work like, oh, hey, I'll take that. And the networks with interesting abilities. But I want to say 100 times there are a dozen more that I'm going to show you today at the website, which is down at the bottom, which you'll see in, which is braingears.blogspot.com. So next I have a short trailer of the paper that I wrote. It's the abstract grid, and it's got some images that I put up to kind of conjure what I'm talking about. So there's a kind of a bombardment of images and verbal, and see if you can pay attention to both. And again, if you don't get it all the first time, go back to the website.
The HaveNWant common cortical algorithm by D. Allen King. Abstract. HaveNWant is a low complex algorithm that processes bits of information bidirectionally. It is a common cortical algorithm whose T control like parts can construct networks that react powerfully in embedded environments. They exhibit many animal learning abilities described by Paget. Learning occurs when unknowns are detected, triggering the addition of new elements to the network. In this way, forward models can be built from experience, and many of these models can be linked together to form large, distributed, associative networks. HaveNWant's level of abstraction lies well above neurological lines, focusing on functionality and avoiding biological constraints. It also lies above computer and algorithms, which operate unidirectionally. In HaveNWant, for every signal going one way, there is another signal coming back. HaveNWant atoms continually reconcile the information on their links, each imposing a particular constraint. Its networks aggregate many single links to efficiently enforce large, sophisticated relationships. HaveNWant operates below most AI architectures, which have algorithms that do not constrain big-level computational locality. Although the examples given involve toy networks, we have planned to extend the base algorithms by adding dynamic variables and noise tolerance to produce robust behavior.
So again, that's on the web. A lot of things are, actually there's a 30-minute read of the whole paper. I tried to prepare, and that's what came out, so it's a video. I think it gives you an idea of where we're headed, and what I have now is some, I'm going to attempt a live demo of off on the right there's like 6 or 8 networks. Umbrella is one where we talk about bidirectionality. Cat, dog, owl, I'll probably go into too, is where it learns a model of the world, simple model. And then there are various things that turn into motors and shaft encoders. So there are these little worlds where, gee, you can plug these things together and it does something that you need. Now, I'm going to argue that as you're able to build bigger and bigger assemblages of these, you're going to find some interesting stuff in there. That's what I'm in the middle of. So let me start. I'll start with umbrella, and this is all magic. I think it works. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Almost yes. So this is a very simple. It's very simple HaveNWant model. Jesus. So, okay, so here we go. So down the bottom, there's a vector, a bundle, I call it, of 3 bits. One is that it's raining, umbrella A, and umbrella B. And up at the top, there's another bundle, which is the context I'm in. Right now, it's I want to stay dry. There could be many other things here. So what happens is I come over to what I can do is say, well, okay, there's some rain. I'm having a meltdown. Live demo, so let me do one thing. Let me try this. This is the various scenes that I can build with Fractal Workbench, and I'm just bringing it up again and seeing if it's happier. Okay, there we go. So what you can see, I won't spend the time repositioning, is if it's raining, it comes up to this AND gate, which says, well, yeah, it's nice that it's raining, but I don't have. So the other thing is, if I have an umbrella, then that goes up to, and it says I can stay dry. So that's the way you normally think with common forward reasoning. But if it's raining and you want to stay dry, it can, down the network, say, well, what am I missing here? Well, I'm missing umbrellas most here, so I want an umbrella. And which umbrella is closer? Well, umbrella A is closer, so I want umbrella A. But now if I do a funny thing which says, for instance, umbrella B is closer, then what happens, so if umbrella B, you excuse me while this mouse is, I'm sitting. So anyhow, I was just going to repeat that, and that's probably not worth repeating. The mouse, there we go. So in Fractal Workbench, I'll pick another scene, which is a similar. So these basically, right? Cat, dog, all, that's the same. So this has a bundle of the world that has like 8 bits in it, which are labeled as labeled here. We've got a cat. So if I put the first sample in, you notice that there's owl and hiss, but there's no model. So it goes over here to this right head, and the right head says, we better make a new element for this. This is something new. So it makes the element, puts it in the thing, and now the model recognizes owl and hiss, and there are no errors that go to the right head. So the right head kind of clears itself up. So we could do another one. Suppose we add one piece to it. So there's owl, screech, and hiss. There's only one error, and that goes to make a single thing up in the top. So you can see that if you're presented with a bunch of models, you can build, and now all of these things are memorized, and you can go to more. Again, all of these are explained probably much better than I have them on the web. Let me go to the final, how much more time do I have? 5 minutes, okay. Including questions. Okay, so I want to go to PowerPoint. Okay. So this is another one rather than a model that was built. It was the tree, and what's coming in is dotted on the sound isn't working on this, but basically all the letters are presented serially with a separator character, and it builds a tree. Now this tree is interesting because once you finish generating it, you can hit one of the top leaves, and it goes dotted down the bottom. So it's bidirectional with the sequentiality, which is a very interesting property. So that's it about trees. Up to this point, we've been dealing with small systems, but I want to talk about where I see us going in big systems. This is the philosophy of HaveNWant. You can take a quick read of it. One bit bidirectional, start small. Don't worry about combinational explorers, do toy networks, find networks. Do fixed networks first and record everything possible. So these are the kind of things that guide me in where I'm going. And where I'm going is this picture. This on the left is is a brain. On the right is the HaveNWant architecture I'm talking about. The green is the motor sensor area. So in the cortex, there's two lobes. The thalamus and basal ganglia go into predominantly motor cortex, and then we do all the things. In here we have all the models we've been talking about. I have a lot to work on here in this conference. But ultimately, the top part of the world has to do with coincidence. And ideally, you'd like to have a cell for grandmother. You'd like to have a cell for every single event that you've seen. Now, of course, there's equivalences. There's a lot of things that make that complicated. But in a simplistic view, if you had one cell here, which represents the convolution today, and then if you tickled that cell, it would come down into the world model and set up the world model, which is appropriate for where we are right now in this room. So that's, and of course, that world model talks to the world through the I/O sensors, which come out the bottom. But there's one more path that I'm exploring, which basically is an attentional learner. There's a thing I call the Maslowian multiplexer. Maslow is the more 4 minutes, okay? Maslow basically said that the most important things get done first. You know, if someone's stepping on my toe, I don't really care about the martini guy that rest. I care about him. So there's this multiplexer which takes the most important of the world models and allows you to kind of, it's shown a little better here. This is the hippocampus and entorhinal cortex, which is the gateway to it. I don't know how it works. One of the things I think it does, though, is repeats patterns over and over, because learning in this area involves axon. I believe that involves axon growth. And if you repeat the same pattern 3 minutes? Okay, 3 minutes. Over and over again. So this is the big picture, and I think that's the whole presentation. I will take questions. How do people see this with respect to the work they're doing? And let me plant the seed answer is that some of the stuff that I see each of you doing might be in the various areas, like the coincidence detection, and so you have almost an answer.
No, I was just wondering, so trying to figure out what are the current limitations of your architecture. What things it cannot do yet?
Well, I have not worried about context, and context is where Q learning lives. I know that each of these actors that you saw is also going to have a Q learning system that drives it particularly to its desired state. I haven't done that yet. The whole notion, I'm dealing in toy environments without noise. There's a lot of stuff there that hasn't been done. The other thing is the strategy that I have for kind of recording everything and figuring it out later. Well, it's not later yet. I have to. But there's a right area. 1 minute. There's a right area to explore. I need about 5 PhD students.
Did you say that you learning is related to the context?
Yeah, I think the plan I hope to carry forward with HaveNWant is every actor has an evidence bundle of what the way the world is, and a context bundle of the way superiors want the world to be, have and want. Okay, and so one of these might be I'm standing. So when I push on the want for I am standing, I would like this to happen. But for that to happen, it might be I have to take the recorder off. I have to do a bunch of things before. I think I've answered your question. Am I close?
More like an episode description that you are after.
Okay, yes. Higher level things look like episodes to lower level things. There's a way of doing dynamic linking so that you can start to put in the constraints of lower than or higher than that we talked about in other things. Okay, I'm done. Let's thank our speaker. And you're